Through every window, the horizon was replaced by grotesque, fleshy walls covered in membrane-like textures. It was as if the train had entered a tunnel or a strange station, sliding forward smoothly through the eerie, dark space.
Remaining distance, 5.
Shouldn't we be doing something right now?
Let's find a button or something.
A button? There's nothing like that here.
What do we do? What do we do?
Excuse me. You by the window, help me close this window. Don't just sit there.
Ugh, shut up already.
Remaining distance, 3.
Wait, are you trying to push someone, huh? Whoa!
Ack, someone fell out of the window.
No, they were trying to push me, but they ended up falling by themselves.
Remaining distance, 2.
Shouldn't we stop the train? Someone just fell.
Remaining distance, 1.
Get down on the floor. Stay quiet.
A sacrifice has arrived.
Outside the window, the endless blue sea once again sparkled under the dazzling sunlight. The train car was in chaos. I looked toward the people gathered near the open window, especially. A man in his 30s wearing glasses, his face pale as a sheet, and the now empty seat directly in front of the window.
That guy pushed someone out of the window, I'm telling you.
No, he tried to push me, but he lost their balance and fell on their own.
That's right. I saw it from the side. The person who fell was acting strange, aggressive even.
Still, someone died.
Next to me, Supervisor Dolphin leaned in and whispered,
The screen did mention a sacrifice and offering, so I guess the person who fell was processed as the offering?
Pretty obvious, huh?
Assistant Manager Butterfly tossed the remark as if it were nothing, and then casually adjusted the equipment attached to her nails, declaring,
We'll observe the next event before we take any action. Get ready.
At least the good news was that the passengers seemed to calm down somewhat, having concluded that the person who fell was at fault. The few who had been accusing and shouting at the man in glasses gradually backed off, muttering a few parting remarks as they did.
Are you okay? Don't take it too hard.
Yes, I'm fine. Everyone's just on edge, that's all.
Supervisor Dolphin was observing this exchange closely. Meanwhile, Assistant Manager Butterfly and I quietly inspected our equipment, keeping a watchful eye on the situation. But that was where the good news ended. 20 minutes later,
Second altar entrance.
the train re-entered the tunnel, and the outside view turned crimson and dark once more.
What the hell is going on?
Thanks to their earlier experience, the passengers didn't fall into a panic. Instead, they quickly crouched down and covered their heads.
It'll pass if we wait long enough.
I overheard the murmuring passengers. Across from me, Assistant Manager Butterfly was now wearing a strange monocle as she scanned the dimly lit train car. Her gaze was sharp, searching for something expendable and convenient.
Shouldn't we observe what happens if no offering is made?
I chose my words carefully, phrasing them the way the assistant manager would prefer.
We don't know if reaching Tamra is a good idea or not. It's a situation worth betting on.
I nodded, exhaling silently. We can't draw attention by offering someone as a sacrifice. Meanwhile, the countdown on the screen continued to tick down.
Remaining distance. 5 remaining distance, 4 remaining distance, 3 remaining distance, 2 remaining distance, 1.
The outside world was bathed in light again. The tunnel ended, revealing the vast ocean once more. The passengers instinctively sighed in relief. The text on the onboard screen flickered and then went dark. What remained was the breathtaking view of the train speeding across the glittering sea, leaving a trail of white spray in its wake. The tension eased, and one by one, people lifted their heads, relief spreading across their faces.
It's still the ocean out there.
This feels like some kind of event or something. Wait, did anyone sign up for an escape room experience or something like that?
This might be easier than expected, huh? Maybe we can clear this without even sacrificing anyone ourselves. It's kind of a predictable condition.
Let's observe a bit longer. This is my order as assistant manager.
Another 10 minutes passed. Slightly more relaxed, some of the passengers began moving around the train car, searching for the missing children, calming down the train staff, and trying to communicate with the engineer. Just when it seemed like everyone had adapted to the situation, regaining some composure and rationality, suddenly, without warning, the train tilted forward abruptly.
What? What's going on?
Passengers tumbled out of their seats, rolling across the floor. I clung tightly to the handrail and managed to hold my ground for one moment longer. Swallowing my fear, I forced myself to look outside. Specifically, I strained to see the surface beneath us, wherever the train met the ocean below. The white spray that had been rising as the train sliced through the shimmering waves. The train broke through the surface of the water and began to sink. The windows shattered and seawater rushed in. The conscious passengers screamed, desperately trying to swim out or cling to each other. The unconscious ones floated limply on the rising water. It was chaos. Enough to drive someone insane.
Isn't this the perfect moment to call for help, friend?
Submerged in the cold, suffocating darkness of the sea, I followed Assistant Manager Jin Nassol's precise hand signals directing us to escape through the windows. But as I got closer to the exit, I felt something strange. My consciousness was fading much faster than my lungs could handle. A dizziness like I was suffocating overwhelmed me. I opened my eyes to the sound of the cheerful train jingle. We were back inside the train car bound for Mokpo, the doors just having closed at Seoul Station. Next to me sat Supervisor Dolphin, and across from me was Assistant Manager Butterfly. Around us, I heard the dazed voices of other passengers.
Hey, I just had the weirdest dream.
You too? Me too. Something about a Tamra-bound train?
Oh, huh? Hold on. Me too?
And over there, over there.
The train roared to life and began moving again. Crying, screaming, and panicked voices erupted throughout the cabin.
Oh, wait! What's happening? What the hell? Just what?
And let me out. Please let me out.
Mom, what's going on?
It's exactly what it looks like. I pressed my lips together in silence. Recent recurrence of the anomalous phenomenon known as the Paradise Test, tentative, has revealed fatal, unpredictable anomalies. It has been confirmed that when the train crashes into the water, passengers are transported back to the exact moment of initial departure. Survivors claim they were trapped in an endlessly looping time sequence aboard the Tamra-bound train. Everything here resets, and everyone remembers. All passengers retain the memory of what they experienced, without exception. This marked the start of the second cycle.
A time loop! A classic sci-fi trope. But what makes this particular case interesting is how profoundly trapped the participants are. With collective memory stacking up for everyone involved, even the bravest among them would hesitate to act. The looming specter of eternal consequences creates a remarkable barrier to action, wouldn't you say?
That's why I need to be extremely careful. I also couldn't afford to get swept up in the panic. One thing mattered most to me now. I can convince people logically. Everyone had experienced something undeniably supernatural. They wouldn't dismiss me as some lunatic spouting nonsense anymore. They'd listen. Now, it was time to act cautiously and deliberately. This isn't too bad. I could survive this. I would survive this. Yes, I had to believe that. I steadied myself and thought about what I needed to do first. Find the person with the silver heart. Aside from me, there was one other key figure responsible for this nightmare becoming a perfect hell. That person was somewhere on this train. I needed to identify and control them. Let's find them and neutralize the problem. I remembered that they had been briefly mentioned in the short story adaptation of this event. I tried to recall the specific car and seat number where they had been sitting. It was definitely in the first car, seat number. Calm down. Think carefully. Their name. What was their exact name?
Hey, Supervisor.
It had been weeks since my memorial pop-socket broke. The gaps in my memory were finally starting to show. The owner of the silver heart. A good person possessing a bad-shaped item capable of swaying others. This individual is a critical figure in the Tamra Express disaster, though they only receive significant attention in the final part of the short story. So the fact that I can't recall their seat number or exact name, maybe it's only natural. I read the wiki focusing on how to break the creepypastas. After I fell into this world, the wikis that became my lifeline and that I repeatedly studied were mostly about creepypasta entries and exploration records. In short, I prioritized reading the wikis that provided information on clearing the ghost stories. I put all the supplementary content aside. The personal details about the Silver Heart owner were mentioned maybe once or twice within that kind of content. Remembering those exact letters and numbers several months after I first read them? Yeah, that was unreasonable. I can still make educated guesses. And even if I don't get a hold of that person right away, I will find a way to deal with this. I do remember other wiki entries about the Tamra Express disaster. For example, urgent notices and official reports from the Supernatural Disaster Management Bureau. I know the flow of this event by its loops, which means I can do this. I determined the direction I needed to take. It's a bit extreme, but there's no other choice. Of course, all this thinking occurred within the span of a few seconds in my head. Meanwhile, the elite team members next to me were having a completely calm conversation.
Wow, a time loop! I've read a lot of short sci-fi anthologies.
It basically means we get unlimited retries until we meet the conditions, right? Annoying, but convenient.
What an absurd conversation. Fortunately, nobody paid any attention to us speaking calmly. The entire train was filled with screams, panic, and crying.
This is a dream. Just a dream. It has to be.
But as always, there's bound to be someone who can't just sit and watch.
Everyone, please, calm down. Calm down.
In every car of the high-speed train, someone began stepping up to calm the passengers and bring order.
Ah! Doesn't someone always say that a crisis is an opportunity? In chaotic situations, there's always someone eager to rise as a leader!
And in our car, that someone was the man with glasses, the office worker. The one who in the first loop had argued about closing the window until the other man lunged and fell outside.
At least we're all still alive, right? That's what's important. Let's take a moment to calm down and figure out what's going on.
Do you have any ideas?
People began paying attention, now that someone was willing to take the lead.
I believe time is repeating itself.
The man with glasses began organizing the situation and calming the passengers.
We're definitely caught in some strange phenomenon, but I believe we've been given this chance for a reason. Maybe it's to figure out the right way to escape. So, let's trust in that and try to figure it out. Stay calm, everyone.
He probably thought things were heading in a good direction, at least until he glanced at the seat where I was sitting.
Look, there are people already staying calm. Let's try to analyze the situation with that kind of composure.
The three of us, employees of Daydream Inc., had just been singled out. Were we being too quiet? No, this was actually good. It was time to establish a position early. This was only the second loop, and I needed to step up now.
No. It's not that we're calm. We're just confused.
I quickly shook my head, forcing a nervous smile.
We're just trying to process things. We were dozing off since we were on a work trip.
There was no way they'd suspect me. I didn't even have to try too hard. My face was already pale. When I spoke up first, Assistant Manager Jin Nassel raised an eyebrow slightly but let it slide. I took the opportunity to press on.
But then suddenly, the view outside changed to the ocean, and there was all this talk about sacrifices. Are you saying all of that was real?
Yes, that seems to be the case.
I swallowed, pretending to be tense.
Then, the person who fell out of the window earlier.
Everyone's eyes slowly turned toward the man sitting next to the window where the sacrifice was made. The middle-aged man who had been arguing before tumbling out during the first loop. His seat, which had been empty before, now, it had someone sitting in it. I saw the silhouette of a passenger sitting there, motionless. It was the man who had fallen out of the window.
Oh, thank goodness.
That's when it happened. The passenger suddenly shot up and lunged at the man with glasses.
You bastard, you son of a because of you.
The middle-aged man, dressed like a nouveau riche, spat as he shouted, his eyes filled with madness.
Die, I fell because of you. It hurt so much.
His eyes gleamed with crazed intensity.
Falling down there is awful. It's painful. It's strange. Ack, ugh, ooh, ech.
The man staggered and trembled before vomiting a strange dark red mass onto the floor. The man with glasses stumbled backward, his face frozen in shock. Those who became sacrifices and fell out of the window exhibited symptoms resembling madness and supernatural afflictions during the next loop. After falling, they reported experiencing burning pain and endless torment from non-human whispers. Seeing it in person, the instability of his condition was overwhelmingly apparent. The man with glasses, seemingly overwhelmed, slowly backed away on shaky legs.
Ah, voluntary surrender! A brief yet noteworthy display of leadership. But now the leader's seat is vacant. Perhaps my friend could step in and lead these people with flair. No, that's fine. This brawn will observe the situation together with you.
I intentionally took a step back to reach Tamra, offer a sacrifice.
Remaining distance 4.
The onboard display changed again.
The text is back.
Wait, wasn't it last time when...
When someone fell out of the window, the train had safely exited the tunnel and kept moving forward. For now, people avoided openly acknowledging the truth, mumbling instead.
What do they mean by sacrifice?
Well, wouldn't it have to be something alive? I mean, based on those horror YouTube videos.
No, it could be an object. Even food offerings in traditional rites count as sacrifices.
That's right. Let's stay calm and try throwing a few things out.
But fear, excitement, and anxiety still flickered in their eyes.
Does anyone have any food with them?
Before long, the passengers holding snacks began to gather whatever could be thrown out. Fruits, eggs, meat, bread, and so on. Right on the edge of time, the scenery outside the window changed. This time, the passengers remained relatively composed.
Let's throw them out.
In silence, the food disappeared through the window. The display didn't react. Only the countdown continued.
It's not working. It's not stopping.
Screams filled the train car. Even when sacrifices were accepted, the countdown had always continued to the end. But I intentionally chose not to point that out. I had known from the start that food wasn't the answer.
Remaining distance 3.
The passengers finally began to accept it.
So it really has to be a person? No way, how can we? If we don't, we'll all die. The train will sink.
Remaining distance 2.
What they meant was clear. He's already not in his right mind, so why not just throw him out again? A suppressed, unspoken instinct that surfaced in emergencies. The first loop sacrifice began to panic.
Spare me. Please, spare me. I don't want to die. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Calm down. It'll be okay.
Remaining distance 1.
Just step away from the window. Huh? Huh?
The train interior brightened as the view of the blue sea returned. The ominous purple text filled the onboard display.
A sacrifice has arrived. Open the sea path.
Near the window lay a pair of broken glasses on the floor, and the man who had been the first sacrifice.
The bastard who pushed me is dead. I didn't die. I didn't die. I'm alive.
Foaming at the mouth, the middle-aged man staggered down the aisle, collapsed in a corner, and began sobbing uncontrollably. The train car was steeped in a chilling, suffocating silence. The atmosphere felt maddening. The former leader became the sacrifice, a cliché development, albeit a bit quick this time.
There's another one coming, isn't there?
What did you say?
The second altar will appear soon, right? We should prepare for that.
The passengers' stress-fueled reactions burst out, but Supervisor Dolphin seemed completely unbothered.
This time, let's do it properly. Find the worst person and throw them out.
She pointed ahead with her finger.
Let's include everyone from the other cars, too. And hey, it's not like there's any guarantee they'll die, right? The last guy came back alive, didn't he? So, wouldn't it be better to throw out someone awful and let them suffer?
But in an incomprehensible disaster, sometimes madness that sounds appealing is exactly what works. A little distorted, of course.
Yeah, so far, only people from our car have been thrown out. The other car should have to do it too.
Why should our car be the only one to suffer and debate this agony? Consumed by resentment and strange fury, the passengers of Car 7 surged forward en masse. Myself and the members of the elite team followed, with Supervisor Dolphin practically leading the charge.
Excuse me. There's an open window here too, right? When the train fell last time, it seemed like nobody fell out from here, so...
Predictably, as we moved forward, most of the passengers in the other cars had no idea what was happening.
What kind of nonsense is this? Who are these people?
Hey, if you don't want trouble, move along, or else. For now, let's keep moving and see.
As Supervisor Dolphin spoke, she eyed the last speaker like they were a prime candidate for her twisted logic. She quickly moved to the next car. But the moment we entered Car 3...
Second altar entrance.
Someone, throw someone out now. The train's going to sink. Wah! Throw someone out. We have to throw someone out the window.
The shouts of panic came from the people in our car, Car 7, and echoed alongside the confused cries of the passengers in the other cars who had yet to grasp the situation.
Remaining distance 5.
Who are these people? Where did they come from? These fuckers are crazy. If you don't want to die, volunteer. We need a volunteer. Well, why don't you jump out then? We've already lost someone from our car. Find someone from another car. Fine. Then who's going to volunteer?
Remaining distance, 4.
Amid the chaos, a clear, authoritative voice cut through.
There's no volunteer, huh?
Assistant Manager Jin Nasol extended her hand. She was about to single out the most uncooperative person and throw them out. And if the loop restarts, she'll just keep using the same people as sacrifices. It was efficient, but I couldn't allow it. Jin Nasol was undoubtedly competent, but she clearly had no understanding of how to manage public sentiment. I raised my hand immediately.
Remaining distance, 3.
Jin Nasol turned to look at me.
I'll be the one to fall.
Remaining distance, 2.
It's not like it'll be a real death, right? I'll hold out and see.
Then I quickly leaned in and whispered to Jin Nasol.
We need to find out what's actually happening down there. We can't rely on civilian testimonies. I've prepared mental defense measures, too.
Remaining distance, 1.
I finished the brief exchange and turned to the crowd.
There's not much time left. Clear the way. I'm heading to the window.
The crowd, both from our car and the others, hesitated, but stepped aside. Even though I spoke calmly, my hands were trembling. According to the plan, this step is absolutely necessary. Since Plan A, immediately identifying and securing the person with the silver heart, had failed, I have to go with a more extreme approach.
Everyone, stay back.
I clung to the window and pulled out a painkiller from my pocket. It might not work, but better than nothing. I jabbed the Happy Maker syringe into my arm. Then, without hesitation, I threw myself out the window, into the crimson tunnel. The first thing I saw was the pulsing red. I realized belatedly that I had collided with something. With a short, thick sound, I landed on something slimy and sticky. The next moment, I recognized it. The stench of decaying meat. The flesh scattered around me clung to my body, oozing. A gust of wind swept past as the high-speed train I had jumped from roared by, leaving behind a deafening noise and a blast of pressure. In an instant, the train disappeared into the far end of the tunnel, where a flickering light awaited. To be honest, it was disgusting and a bit terrifying, but I wasn't in pain, nor did I spiral into panic. It felt more like standing alone at night in front of the garbage sorting area of an apartment complex.
Good heavens! What an unhygienic environment! Are you all right, friend?
The Happy Maker is really doing its job. It was as if my mind had been sedated, but in reverse. Instead of the cold clarity you get from calming pills, my mind felt warmly dulled, steady. I stood up, my thoughts calm and stable, but as I brushed off the rotten flesh with my bare hands...
Dever your core eruption.
Matching this to the testimonies of the previous offerings, and the current situation, it seems. I should be feeling burning agony all over my body by now, unbearable pain driving me to claw off my own skin and flesh, and I would be forced to chew and swallow what I tore off as I staggered toward the light at the end of this disgusting, humid corridor. This whole tunnel was a testament to that horror. Luckily, I didn't feel any of that. I had the mental resistance boost from the silver ring, and the Happy Maker had numbed any potential pain. I stood fully upright and gave my body a light shake. It didn't help much. Traces of grime and rotten flesh still clung to me. As for where this flesh had come from, I chose not to think about it. Even though the Happy Maker kept me calm, it was still gross.
Braun, are you all right?
Are you referring to the repetitive radio tape-like noise? It's an annoying hum, but not unbearable!
And the burning pain.
This body doesn't have skin or flesh. I'm just fabric, cotton, and a pair of eyes and a nose, after all.
So the conditions for being a sacrifice apply only to humans. Thankfully, I didn't have to worry about Braun losing control and going berserk.
Well then, does my friend have any more business in this filthy place?
Then let's get moving.
To escape, I need to get back on that train. I began walking toward the end of the corridor. The slime and fluid splashed under my feet, seeping into my shoes and soaking my socks red. Could it be that the more sins a person has committed, the more intense the burning pain they feel here? In theory, a good person who falls through the window should only experience minimal pain. This ghost story focused on the train's group dynamic devolving into a chaotic, inhuman disaster with each loop. Some details could only be understood by experiencing them firsthand. Regardless, the corridor was longer than expected. I kept walking persistently. I hope I don't need to use another happy maker. Ignoring the voice, I trudged onwards. Though my legs felt heavier with each step, the light was steadily growing closer. The intense light pouring out from the tunnel's exit nearly blinded me, making it hard to see. I squinted and pushed forward until the light completely engulfed me. A small, gentle invitation. The strange warmth and sense of liberation felt like a soft but overwhelming command piercing through the top of my head.
Oh, whoa! That was quite an aggressive invitation. Wait just a
And in the next instant it disappeared. I felt my consciousness being pulled downward like a train speeding down a steep slope. I was sitting in a clean, modern high-speed train car. My body was spotless again, and my mind... The memories surged back, and a wave of nausea hit me. I didn't feel this earlier, though. I had been buried in a mass of flesh that people had torn off themselves, eaten, and then vomited. I had stood up and walked through that. Stopped thinking about it. What mattered now was that I had successfully returned to this point in time. The Happy Maker's effects have reset to the starting point, too. I quickly regained my composure and immediately checked the number of Happy Makers in my inventory.
Ah! Your consumed items have reverted to their unused state. This makes sense, as you've returned to the train's departure point!
Right, I had anticipated this.